to my channel, depending on where you're watching it from. If you're watching it from YouTube or the Facebook business page, this is the September 2020 Sagittarius Tarotscope. So the intention of this is to represent for those with Sagittarian sun, moon, or rising. I'm sorry, I was watching somebody outside my window. Excuse me, let me get centered here. Okay, so this is for anybody with Sagittarius as their sun, moon, or rising, or anybody with heavily placed planets in Sagittarius. It is not necessarily, it's a broad spectrum reading for many people, so if some of it relates and some of it doesn't, that's completely okay. Nothing is wrong. Don't, worry about that. You might be working on something else, so you kind of like take what you need and leave the rest, right? So if you do decide to listen to anything and make any decisions from what I've said, that's your responsibility, keeping that in mind too. What else? If you are a cross-watcher, you're more than welcome to be here. If you care about a Sagittarius, that's more than allowed. Please give the video a thumbs up at the end if you enjoyed it or if you appreciated it. You can leave me any questions or comments, and I appreciate those too. And also subscribe to the channel if you feel so inclined. Either follow the business page or hit the subscribe button over on YouTube. You can do vice versa too. If you're watching on Facebook, go over to my YouTube channel and give me a subscribe, and vice versa. If you're watching on YouTube, go over to my Facebook business page and give me a follow there. All right, so this month, excuse me, I'm still having coffee and kind of waking up. This month, what I decided to do for September is I unboxed 4 different oracle decks. I just felt inspired to do so. And the deck that we're working with, that I'm shuffling right now, is for the fire signs, right? So this is the Path of the Soul Destiny cards, and the reason why I chose this one is it's these more abstract pieces of art, right? It was a deck that was sent to me by a viewer, I'm not sure who. They sent it to me from my Amazon wish list, and they didn't put a note in there, so I wasn't able to properly thank them. But whoever it may be, if you happen to see this video, thank you very much. Please let me know in the comments if it was you. But the Path of the Soul Destiny cards, I felt like since the fire signs are the element of spirit, right, which would be the soul kind of thing, it's a little bit more abstract, a little bit harder to catch, fire is hard to contain, that kind of a thing. So I felt like these cards with more abstract art might work really well. So this first card, this oracle card, is supposed to represent kind of, for my Sages, as their kind of spiritual Sherpa is the best way to describe it. This will be your guide through the month, something to focus on, something to reflect upon, something to, kind of either work with or bring about or be aware of, because it might be significant during the month of September. So let's see what's going on here. Sorry, that's my dog snoring, you guys, so. Okay, this is weird. I do not have any idea. No, I haven't worked with this deck yet, so it's relatively new to me. I'll show you the art up close, and let me reframe the camera. It's kind of a beautiful picture, right? But the interesting thing is I saw 43, and I thought that was the name of the card, like, as if the name is 43, and I'm like, what's the significance of 43? And then I realized, oh, that's actually just the number of the card. Dan, calm down. Okay, so what do I think about this? I feel like, and so what I'm gonna do, excuse me, I need a little more coffee. I shouldn't have done this so early, but I felt inspired to get on early. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sort of see where this art takes me, talk about that, and then I'll read the definition in the book. And that will, maybe bring further clarification. Who knows, it could totally oppose what I say, but we'll see which wins out. So when I'm looking at 43, 43 is, numerologically, it boils down to a 7, which 7 is always about making sort of significant choices. I always look at 7s about kind of, we have to sort of make that choice and stand by it. It's usually a conscious choice or a decision that needs to sort of come to pass so that you know, an adjustment or some sort of rearrangement, and you know, sometimes it's like an inventory taking process, that sort of a thing that comes about that brings us to where we want to be or to the next phase, and the balance that we see in an 8. That's more of a tarot meaning, but that's kind of how I interpret the energy of a 7 card. It's usually about change through personal choice, is the way that I choose to view them. When I look at this, to me, this feels really energized for the Sages. So I like that it's got this sort of yellow, golden, orange tone to it. To me, that definitely speaks to that element of fire, which is Sag's home sign. When I look at this, I also feel like this is sort of an egg, an idea, an opportunity, something that maybe Sag has been kind of brewing upon, thinking about, wanting, really maybe desirous of. This month might be the actual, and I don't know why I'm feeling this, but I feel like this might be the month where we actually take the desire or the idea, right? Because I see this whole shape as the egg of the idea, right? That we've maybe been mulling about, thinking on, desirous of, and maybe making that choice to start to put plans into effect or to take steps forward towards making this a reality. I feel like we're beaming kind of, you see this brightness here at the bottom and the top. To me, the Sagittarius might be thinking on whatever this is, this desirous thing, right? Quite a bit in the month of September, and you guys are like filling it with energy. And to me, it feels like this is getting ready to maybe burst, come forth, actions getting ready to be taken, steps are getting ready to be taken to make this a reality. I don't necessarily know that it will become a full bore, you know, physical manifestation by the time, you know, September's over, but it's definitely like, I feel like it's coming to the forefront. This cannot be denied, is sort of the feeling that I get from this. And I just feel like this, it gives me this vibe that we're thinking on this thing a lot. We're formulating a plan. We're moving forward. We're trying to bust forth. We're trying to like sort of hatch this egg, so to speak. So I have no idea what the name of this art piece is. So we're going to read it in the definition in the book really quick. So let me look that up, and then we'll get into the tarot stuff. Also, I want to say that I can't remember what I was just going to say. The 7, I feel like is significant. Like it's us making a choice or a decision to kind of step forward. All right, interesting. Okay, so this is universal connection. The guidance you are now receiving is truly universal. Take time daily to connect with your guides and angels. They wish to connect with you as much as you wish to connect with them. They are working very closely with you, and you are being encouraged to journal at this time. This is a great story you are writing. It is your personal story, and it is unique to you and only you. Write poetry to express the emotions you are feeling. Write down your dreams and synchronistic events that occur. This card calls for putting your connection and experience with spirit into writing. So that's really beautiful. But I kind of feel like something's going to bust open. I don't know if you guys see that, but to me, this feels like we've been maybe running this connection. I can see that the significance of being connected to, like, say, the material plane and the spiritual plane, and that filling us up with this vibrant energy. I do feel like the orange and gold colors that we see in this card speak to it maybe being a high energy month for Sages, that you guys feel optimistic, inspired, possibly on fire to a degree with whatever this idea is. This roundness to me feels like this is some sort of thought, some sort of desire, some sort of, and it could be multiple things. For, you know, some of you, you might have more irons in the fire than one particular thing. But to me, this feels like this is the idea or the inception of that idea. I mean, it's past inception stage, right? We've been thinking on it for a while, but now is the time to actually imbue it with this sort of inspired, like, choice to make it a reality. That could be why, like, when I'm thinking about that definition of like connecting to spirit and acknowledging where spirit works in our life, that might be helpful in us, like, believing in ourselves enough to sort of push this thing through and utilize the gold energy, sort of inspiration tones that we see here to kind of move this dream into a reality. Does that, I hope that kind of, it's a little abstract, but this is a new deck, so we're working it the best we can. So let's get into the tarot for you guys for the month of September. What do my Sages need to know? Sun, Moon, Rising. Okay. Interesting. So this is your center card. This is kind of where you're centered at for the month of September. You will go in and out of this card throughout the month of September. Um, so it's not something that you will be in the entire time, but it kind of gives us a general idea of sort of where my Sagittarius will feel most at home throughout the month of September, right? So this is the Knight of Wands. I'm going to say this, guys. I think you guys are the first card or the first reading, because I've done the first 9. I've done all of the air, earth, and water signs in the last 3 days, and now I'm working on fire. You guys are the first fire signs that I'm doing. You guys are the first out of the previous 9. So you're the 10th sign I'm doing out of 12. You guys are the first to lead with a card that actually represents in your home sign. Does that make sense? Wands is the element of fire, and the Knight of Wands to me is kind of a very sort of saggy card because the knight rides on the horse, right? So to me that lines up like really beautifully with Sagittarius. The knight is about nobility. He's about doing the right thing. He's about servitude to others. He's about looking at, that sort of maybe setting his own needs aside and kind of doing his part for the greater good, right? And when I look at this Knight of Swords, let me just show him to you. He's on this beautiful horse, all like blue and everything. And to me, blues always kind of speak to this idea of well thought out plans, certainty, stable, that sort of a thing. So I like that this horse is very blue. It's just drawing my attention. It's cool, calm, collected. That's also the blue in this. But the horse is like steadily moving towards the future. And to me, this knight feels excited about the future. This knight feels that like whatever his plan is, or that your plan may be, that you see the benefit, how it not only benefits you, but maybe those that you care about around you. You're kind of ready to go onward ho. And I mean onward ho, not in the kind of ho that I am, but in the kind of ho like there's an excitement about moving into the future, right? And I think that that also ties into this sort of universal connection card, right? Where we're talking about there's this excitement, this idea, this desire, this energy that Sag has access to that does connect them to the great, grander universe, right? That does make them feel like maybe empowered to be this sort of champion for not only themselves but also for others. It feels very comfortable for Sag this month. That's what I'm hoping, because this Knight of Wands to me is extremely Sag oriented, right? He's ready to move into the future. He's got a plan. It's for not only his betterment but maybe the betterment of those that he cares about. There's like a with knights, I always feel like there's the aspect of servitude, right? And the fact that they kind of protect the realm, so to speak, right? There's this kind of higher calling to the knights too, in a way, right? They sort of serve others. They're there to serve others. And I'm not saying that this isn't about Sag this month, but I feel like through doing we gain self-esteem through doing esteemable actions. You know that phrase? To me, that's what this card feels like. Like Sag is going to really understand and feel their own self-worth through doing what they know to be true to themselves. That's also some of this connection that I feel like is in this spiritual connection card, is we feel maybe in sync with the world around us this month. I hope that's the case for you guys. And also there's a big focus on moving forward. That's kind of this horse going towards what I see as the future, is there is this kind of excitement about moving things forward and the process that's going to how that's going to play out maybe throughout September and beyond. All right, so the next card is what I call the foundation card. This card tells me a little bit about what led us up to this point. It's sort of something from the past that has brought about these cards that we're seeing today. It's also the memory of this card that can kind of be either holding things in place, right? Or it can be sort of pushing things along, so to speak, right? It can be like, I guess, sort of the mitigating factor in all of this. So it's like sort of beneath the surface. So this is the Six of Pentacles. This is a beautiful card. I feel like this was Gemini's center, if I remember correctly. I think this card's shown up for a couple of signs. Gemini is one, and I can't remember, possibly Virgo? I can't remember if it was Virgo or not. This Six of Pentacles, to me, Pentacles is Earth, and it's associated with the physical. I gotta stop looking out the window. Sorry, guys. It's associated with the material realm and sort of wealth. I kind of broadly use wealth as money, finances, jobs, careers. It can be relationships at times. It can be sort of the wealth that brings. It's sort of abundance in any shape or form that we can kind of manifest into the physical realm. When I look at the Six of Pentacles, to me, it's a very nice card. It's not overly abundant. It's not, starving for what we need. It's just enough. And so when I look at this as the foundation, is there was a period where life was normal, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting from this card. To me, where it's like we had enough. We didn't really need for anything. Things were under control. Things felt good. We were able to be kind and caring to others. We were able to share whatever it is that we had. There's a definite charitable aspect to the Six of Pentacles. So when I look at this, I kind of feel like this might be a time back when we had everything that we needed and all of our needs were met. And I think that Sag is trying to get back there, or using the memories of that time to kind of pursue or push forward this Knight of Wands, right? Where it's this idea of not only doing right by ourselves, but it's kind of serves the greater good of the collective, right? And so with this, it's as the underpinning or as the foundation of that, it's the reminder of, there's been times where we have been connected, things have been good, we have sort of felt ourselves. And because I always see this woman as sort of loving on herself. She's in all of her finery, not ostentatiously, but just like a self-appreciation that's grounded in, the well-being that she has. And she's not afraid to like own it, share it, have it. She feels no sort of shame or worry about the things that she has. She has just like, to me, this is like that kind of like the Goldilocks card in a way, where it's like, oh, this bed is just right, oh, this porridge is just the right temperature. To me, the Six of Pentacles is kind of that, in the sense that we have just exactly what we need. We're content, we're happy, we're even able to help others. And so when I look at this in the foundation space for Sag, it kind of coincides with this idea that there's been a time where things were more settled, more grounded, and we want to get there, and we're ready to take the action too. That's also the Knight of Wands. Wands being very much about action. It can be a little bit impulsive, but it is about taking action. We're ready to take the action to get ourselves back to that better place, back to that sort of maybe more stable, self-sufficient kind of energy. Now, I'm not saying that Sagittarius aren't feeling self-sufficient now, but I feel like this call from this Six of Pentacles is about maybe a little bit more practicality, a little bit more logical behavior or thought patterns, that kind of a thing, because we're trying to maybe bring this in. It's funny to me, this looks like a giant pentacle too, but we're trying to bring this in. We're trying to connect maybe our material to our spiritual this month in September. That's sort of these lines also, and that might be also why this card is saying write these things down. Write down the sort of, not idiosyncrasies, but the synchronistic moments. Write down where the inspiration comes from and pay attention to it this month, because I think that there is an opportunity to maybe ground it and make it more real and bring it into sort of our existence in a very real sort of way, especially with this Knight of Wands as our center and then this Six of Pentacles as our foundation. It speaks to this idea of we can make it real and sort of bring it in, or at least that's the focus this month. Now, the next card is your Spirit or Soul card. I love this card. This is probably my favorite card in the deck. This is the Star card. I love that she's this beautiful angel. I'm sorry if she's kind of out of focus, but the Star to me is like I said, one of my favorite cards. It's one of the more peaceful cards of the deck. It is It's the card that follows after the Tower, and it's sort of that piece that happens after everything is maybe uprooted or changed. To me, this speaks to that idea of spiritual connection that we see in this card here, in your spiritual Sherpa card that's leading you through the month. This is the idea of being connected to that grander universe in that more quieter way, listening to those more subtle voices. The star is always about this sort of like, how do I want to say this? Like this passive ownership, in a sense. We just sort of twinkle in the sky as we are, right? Owning who we are, the beauty of who we are, the fragility of who we are, all aspects of who we are, and just kind of know. We don't need to prove it to anybody. We just know our own true power, our own true beauty, our own true connection to everything that is. And I feel like that's sort of what's left in the wake of, say, a Tower moment, which is the card that precedes it. There's a piece to this card, right? So I feel like when this is coming in from the spirit space, it's spirit asking you to kind of connect into your higher self, or making that very available to you this month. That's also reflected in this instruction from this card about write these things down, pay attention, connect up, know that you've got this kind of, to me it feels like a universal like hookup this month, where you can use this kind of, this feels a little weird, this kind of it's almost like jacking somebody's cable from the neighbor next door. To me, I feel like you guys can clip in at any point in time this month and utilize it to move your endeavors forward if you choose to. The star speaks to being, it's major arcana, so it's got a fairly large impact, but it's got a very quiet voice in my opinion. So we might need to take time out to introspect, to reflect, to meditate, to connect in however we find things that bring us joy, activities that bring us joy, that bring us closer to our sort of internal selves, and listen to that voice throughout the month of September, because that's also part of that universal connection, right? That's part of that higher spiritual mind. And we want to be working with that, especially I love that we have this up in the spirit space, and then we have something so grounded as the Six of Pentacles in the foundation, which is, you know, when you think about it metaphorically, it's more down to earth, right? The foundation would be down at the earth level. So we've got this beautiful kind of energy working in our favor on both sides of this reading. Does that make sense? So we want to utilize that, harness that, and allow it to kind of invigorate or inspire all of our ideas in the month of September, right? So let me go to the outside influences. These are things that are affecting you either positively or negatively during the month of September. They're just things to be aware of. They can be people, events, sometimes things more vague like belief systems or energies that are having an effect on you during this month. So let's see. Okay, I like this. We've got the Magician. Sorry, I'm trying to keep these so you can see them all. So the Magician is major arcana associated with the sign of Aquarius. Definitely a heady, powerful energy. Definitely sort of about, to me, he's the more kind of masculine aspect of the first few cards of the deck. You start with the Fool, then you have the Magician, then the High Priestess, which is the feminine side of things. He's the more active, doer, go-getter, creator, right? He has access to all of the elements. I feel like this coming in, whether this is an actual specific person or just a sort of opportunistic energy that's coming in like through different experiences in the month of September, it is a very creative energy. It is a very empowered energy. It is strong, right? I would say this, I don't feel like there's any negativity with this Magician. I actually think there's a lot of opportunity coming around us. There might be doors opening, situations becoming available to us that allow for further creation in big and powerful ways. What I would say with this is be careful, for my Sages, be careful what we focus on. If any of you Sages have anything, you know, any planets placed in stuff that makes you more emotional or more prone to see the negative rather than the positive, I would say be careful of that, only from the standpoint that the Magician is going to help you to create whatever it is you sort of focus on, wherever it is you channel your attention and your energy this month. So I don't get a feeling that it's a bad thing at all. All of these cards seem really balanced and sort of focused and positive, but sort of this warning popped up in my mind. If the Magician is present and ready to work with you, right? That energy, let's just say, those sort of situations arise. We want to be going into those situations connected to this universe, feeling the peace of this star, right? This star energy from our higher selves, and going in with this optimism and even maybe a little bit of I mean, the night can be slightly impulsive, so even that impulsivity keeps it light to a degree. We don't want it to be too heavy. And I don't feel any heaviness in these cards, really. That would be my warning with that Magician, because he is powerful, and it does speak to the idea that September is going to be probably a creative month for you guys. You guys seem positioned for it. That's sort of what I'm seeing in these cards. All right, so the next outside influence. Okay, get it, King of Cups. Hi, King of Cups. So this was in Pisces Foundation yesterday when I did the Pisces reading. It's interesting, too, because in the Pisces reading, over in this position where the King of Cups shows up today, this Knight of Wands was over here. And I was sort of saying to, was it Pisces? I believe it was Pisces. I think it was. But it's kind of funny because I feel like they're sort of paralleling one another. All right, so King of Cups. King of Cups is all about sort of emotional fulfillment. I think that there's love there. There's a definite opportunity to sort of... To me, the King of Cups is in love with the idea of being in love. That's how I see him. He's usually really beneficial. He's usually very attentive. I feel like he can be hard to pin down at times. In the sense that sometimes he flows a little too much, if that makes any sense. He's a busy dude. This could be a water sign. This could be a Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancer coming into my Sagittarius' life. It's usually male, but doesn't have to be. And it's interesting to me, too, because with that Magician on the other side, some of you could be creating something. This could be through business partnerships with another water sign, or with a water sign, or it could be a romantic thing, because the King of Cups tends to be romantic in a way. So there's that aspect to it. If it's not a person, right, say my Sagittarius are already involved, you're involved with somebody that you're very much in love with, and this doesn't look like it would be a business dealing or a potential relationship. This could just be opportunities to feel... the way that the King of Cups would sort of come in on this is, this could be opportunities to sort of feel emotionally fulfilled, emotionally in control. There might be situations that might come up that I want to say sort of like challenge you emotionally, but what the King of Cups says to me is that, don't worry, Sag, I can show you how to move through this. I can show you how to like rise above this, not let this bother you. And the reason why I say that is because we have this beautiful star in the higher self. The star is all about maintaining that peace, shining brightly, knowing her worth, not necessarily having to broadcast it to everybody and prove it. She just is, right? She just is connected and can be, right? And so this King of Cups to me feels like whatever may come at you that could stir up emotions of any kind, which I don't even feel like it's a bad situation, if that makes sense. The King of Cups is here to show you how to rule over that emotional aspect of yourself, right? He's here to kind of show you the peace that is within you, right? Through maybe throwing you a little bit of a challenge where you're like, oh shit, normally I would react and maybe fall apart or get really angry or upset. But this month, to me, I feel like this coming in speaks to this idea that we're going to be in charge, and in charge in a very authentic and authoritative adult sort of way. Does that make sense? So I like that coupled with that Magician card, right? Because whatever we're creating or whatever's working around us in the month of September, it feels like it wants to further us, it wants to help us create, it also wants to grow us emotionally, right? Now, if that is through, say, a business dealing with a water sign or a romantic partnership with a water sign, great. That's there for you, right? And this Magician card speaks to the idea of the sky's the limit, right? You guys can get on and start collaborating and making those ideas or whatever. And it doesn't, you know, I mean, you can broaden it out. It doesn't have to be a water sign. It could be somebody that's fairly creative and emotional, right? Very loving, kind person. That would be the King of Wands energy. But if it's not that, it's certainly about this opportunity to kind of see how well you can maintain your emotional self, your control, your authority, and move through the month in a very positive way. I feel like both of these cards, being outside influences, are extremely empowering, extremely positive. So utilize this energy, Sag, this month to really pursue what it is that you want, what it is that you desire, what it is that feels the most right. That could be also King of Cups energy too. All right, so this last card is the potential outcomes for my Sages for the month of September. It's not necessarily set in stone. It is just a potential outcome. So therefore, if it's a negative card, we can utilize it as a warning right now and make choices and changes to avoid this outcome coming to pass. If it is a positive card, we can take heart in the fact that we're sort of naturally heading towards this outcome. Okay, so we don't have to really do much to change it. We can just kind of take heart in the fact that this is coming down the pipe for the majority of you. All right, so this is the Seven of Pentacles. So I feel like this is that 7 energy that we see in card number 43, right out of the gate. I like that it's the next phase of the 6 of Pentacles, which makes me think that Sag is up to something. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that you all are trying to build something here. That's kind of the feel that I'm getting, because the 7 is building upon that 6 that's in our foundation, right? The 7 is a little bit more unstable than that 6 of Pentacles. The 7 to me feels like this opportunity to kind of enact change. Like I said at the very beginning of this reading, it's this opportunity to sort of make conscious choices to enact change, to shuffle things around and reestablish stuff. Maybe go through a little bit of discomfort in an effort to create more wealth or abundance so that we can feel more comfortable. That comes in the 8, 9, and 10, right, of Pentacles. And to me, I feel like Sag might be working on this. Some sort of better scenario in their lives. This could be through, our romantic relationships, our work environment, whatever it is that you are working on as a Sag right now, that you desire, that you want, that is sitting here in your mind and kind of brewing, that you're energizing and inspired to want to create. This is the month to do it. Now, by month's end with the 7 of Pentacles, I kind of feel like you might at the end of the month not have everything completed or fully realized, in the sense that, and I don't mean this in a bad way, what I mean is that the 7 usually means that some things need to get uprooted or changed to get you where you want to be, but that's completely okay. I feel like you understand that when I look at this 7 of Pentacles. You understand sort of the bigger picture. That Star card, that King of Cups, even that Magician, the Knight of Wands, he's willing to do what he needs to do the right thing, right? So to me, it feels like, and he's inspired, he's on that horse, he's ready to go. He's pretty certain that this is what he wants and how he wants it. So if by the end of September things feel slightly uncomfortable or need rearranging or that kind of an energy, right? My Sages might need to be like, okay, well, I need to do this so that I can, readjust or shift the plan so that I can get there. It's not a bad card. It's just sort of a card of almost like commitment in a way, is how I'm seeing it. Like, we need to kind of know that we've created the 6 of Pentacles in the past. We have that. We have like access to that sort of energy, that kind of stability to push us forward. But with the 7, it's like we need to open ourselves up a little bit more, maybe be a little bit more vulnerable, and start to make conscious decisions towards taking slight risks or challenging ourselves in certain ways where we're like, no, I'm up for the challenge, let me do this. That's also part of the reward. I feel like as I say that to you, it's funny because this King of Cups and this Magician, both are very masculine male cards, but they're also represent as people, right? The Magician is Major Arcana, the King is a court card. So to me, it feels like these are energies that are coming in because Sag is willing to do the work. That's like sort of what I'm hearing when I'm talking about the 7 of Pentacles. It's like, I almost feel like spirit or the universe, and that's also in this universal connection card, is, to me, it feels like the universe sort of knows, like, okay, by month's end, they're going to be willing to maybe sacrifice or risk something and take that risk from a really good place. Therefore, let's send them the King of Cups and the Magician to help them out. Does that make sense? That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. So by month's end, Sagittarius, don't be worried if you feel like you might have to sacrifice something or change something in the plan, alter something, shift it in an effort to kind of get yourself where you want to go. That's that 7 of Pentacles energy. But we won't I kind of feel like we maybe won't be able to fully determine how things are going to play out until like the following month or maybe the month after that. To me, this whatever's brewing in this card, right? Whatever this goal is, and if it's multiple goals, good on you. Like, way to work with it. But I feel like it's kind of a little bit. It's got like a heft or a weight or an importance to it, right? That's also the universal connection in that card. It's like the universe hears you is kind of the feeling that I'm getting as I'm looking at this picture here. Is it feels like the universe hears you. The universe knows that you want this. It knows that you've been thinking about this. It knows that you've been like sort of filling it with maybe good vibes or positivity and inspiration up until this point, and you're finally ready to kind of step forward and take action. And that's the Knight of Wands energy in the center, which is very much Sag's energy, right? You guys are the most at-home sign I've seen thus far in the month of September. I also think that this is a huge opportunistic month for you guys to begin to create what it is you do desire and honor that connection, honor that ability to create through, you know, connecting to that star energy in the higher self, which is the beauty of who you are at a higher level. Also connect and honor the universe or whatever gods that you sort of connect to and pray to, because they're helping you. They are around you in this magician, in this King of Cups. There's emotional well-being, there's creativity, there's magic all around you this month. So channel that shit. Work it out and make it happen, Sages. All right, so that is your forecast. I get a feeling I'm going to say this too, like with that Seven of Pentacles at month's end, this is the majority of you will end there, but it's not a bad place. It's just a place of adjustment. It's just a place of like further tweaking the plan, making those adjustments so that you can continue to carry this out. Because this is sort of like, to me, a more long-term life goal. This isn't like, should I go to the store today or tomorrow? This is like, do I make this path change in a way? Like, to me, this feels significant. This is not something small. Does that make, I hope that makes sense, guys. It's interesting to work with this fractal art deck because it's so sort of it's beautiful, but it's really open for interpretation. All right, that is your forecast, Sag. Thank you so very much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I am going to go. I'm going to shoot the daily next, so that I'm going to be offline for a few minutes, and then I'm going to start to upload that, and I will come back and do the other two fire signs. We have Aries will be next, and then Leo will go last. So keep an eye out for that. I will go live in a little bit to do those. I'm going to shoot tomorrow's forecast next. And please tune in to the daily over on my YouTube channel. I greatly appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up and a like over there. The YouTube daily forecasts have been really beautiful. So if you're not catching them, you should go over and check out my YouTube channel, because I feel like there's really good information and energy happening over there. And that's it, you guys. Have a great day. What's going on in the comments? Hey, Christina. Hey, Steven. Hey, Kathy. How are you guys? Cancer's already up on the page, Christine. So you can find Cancer either on my YouTube channel, or if you scroll back, it was done yesterday, so it shouldn't be too far back on the business page. So you can find it at those two places. Yes, Steven, it should be very exciting. It should be a really good month for Sagittarius. So take this reading and run with it, my dear. All right, you guys, have a great day, and I will see you in a little bit. All right, bye-bye.